Hey guys, it's Deborah. So I want to touch base with you guys because the lunar eclipse, the flower blood moon, has come and gone. And yeah, I just want to touch base with you guys. So I'm going to tell you what happened to me around the time of the blood moon. And yeah, just go from there. So, nothing that I know of in the physical in general happened, except there were a lot of solar flares that apparently happened during the blood moon, and that had something also to do with the like aurora lights, maybe the aurora borealis or something like that. But I just know there was solar flares happening at the same time of the blood moon, so I don't know if that's rare or what. But one thing that did happen to me at night is it was just before bed, like close before bed. So I don't know what time it was, maybe like 11 or something. And my youngest kids were asleep, but my older ones were with me in the living room. And my husband was showing them something on a laptop. And so they were all looking at the laptop, and I had the TV on, we were all in the living room. And all of a sudden, all the power went out. So last night, so all the power went out. Skies were clear, everything was fine, and it was like just black. And I heard like a sound because everything just went off because we had the AC on and everything. And luckily my youngest ones were asleep, so I mean they wouldn't notice because it's already dark. But we were all like, okay, like there was just no storm, and it was the night of the blood moon. So obviously, honestly, this is no joke. Like my heart jumped because I had already built myself up so much, and I'll get into how I feel about that. I'd already built myself up so much that what's going to happen. And in my previous video, I gave a pretty interesting experience that I had in the middle of the night, just talking with God, praying and stuff. And it led up to this blood moon. And so, I didn't know what was going to happen. Obviously, we always hope, it's the rapture and everything like that. But I didn't know, was something bad going to happen? And people are on this 3 days of darkness again, which we all know is a Catholic prophecy. So let's just know it is Catholic. And it's Catholic. Let me just, I won't even get into it, but it is Catholic. Like, you have to be, one of the rules is you're supposed to burn these white candles. I'm not even going to, give it any whatever, but you're supposed to burn these white candles, but they have to be blessed by, holy water or something like that. So that you have to remember if you're into all this, but there could be blackouts and things like that. Anyway, it blacked out, and it took a little while. Then eventually it all came back on. But one thing it made me think of was, we talk about all this stuff about end times and all this stuff, but maybe some of you guys do, but I hadn't had a real dose of reality. When the Bible says, do not wish for the day of the Lord. I can't remember the verse, but something like, do not long for the day of the Lord, because it's a day of sorrow and tragedy. I'm in my car, so I'm just totally quoting off the top of my head, but it does say, don't long for the day of the Lord. When the lights went out, it was almost like reality hit me. And I was like, what is this really going to be like? It really did shock me, because obviously power's gone out a lot of times, but when you're sitting waiting for something to happen, possibly biblically, and also, so much lines up and everything, and then on top of it, there's solar flares. Now, I don't know what a solar flare is, but from what I researched, it's something that can take out, power lines and all that stuff, and internet and EMT, I don't even know what that is. But anyway, my point is, it's like I got a dose of reality, and I was thinking, this is no joke. I mean, to have no internet, no phone, to sit there and know you can't reach out to anybody and all these things, I just feel like that really just hit home. I don't know. So that was one big thing that happened, is my power went out at night. And now you may be thinking, who cares? But I mean, it's just the buildup of it. I did learn a lot from this experience. Another thing that happened was before the day, was it the day of? Yeah, the day of the blood moon. My eldest had this feeling. She said to me, she didn't want my younger two to go to their school. My kids are homeschooled, but my younger two go to a special needs school. It's therapy, but it's a school, and it's a nice building, new. I'm bringing that up for a reason. It's just a nice quality, new facility. It also houses a dental office and something else. It's a big building. Anyway, so she was thinking she didn't feel good about them going. She told me that day. And I said, well, I really think they should go. I don't have that feeling, but she's been really high with discernment lately, but she's been off on a few things and really, really on some other things. So I have to listen to her, but also gauge it because she's a kid. So I prayed about it or whatever, and I wasn't sure because, I didn't know if I should just keep them home, what was going to happen. But she was pretty adamant and pretty upset about it. Then I get a call in the morning from the school saying, no one can come to school today. We're really sorry because a flock of birds broke into the school and like made damage, was flying into people's heads, like crazy things. Now, I don't think the kids were going to be hit with birds, but something, I don't know. It just happened the day of the blood moon where she said, don't send them. I don't have a good feeling. Then all of a sudden, your guess is as good as mine. All of a sudden they called and said they can't come. A flock of birds went into the school, and I just don't think it was coincidence. I don't know what's up with that. I just honestly don't know. But now back to my lessons learned. Also, I forgot to mention this is an actual picture of last night's super blood blood moon. This is a really amazing picture. Yeah, the lesson I learned from my whole experience last night, it's more personal, but I'll just share with you guys, is that one, I wasn't taking how devastating people are going to actually feel. It's like I got a glimpse or a feeling of the terror of the tribulation. I felt so much terror at that moment, which was weird because, obviously, I've had blackouts a million times. I don't know what it was. I guess it was just everything all built up, but I just felt it, which I don't know. You talk about all this stuff and, the Spirit and the bride say come, and we say come, and we want him to come, but it said just don't long for the day of the Lord. And I don't know. I feel like that was meant, like, really necessary for me to really say, this is going to be an absolute nightmare. But even me saying it feels like it's not enough. I feel like what I felt was just, I know it was all the emotion built up mixed with that happening, but I just don't feel like it was an accident. It doesn't even make any sense. I don't know if it was the solar flares. I don't know what caused that. There was no storm, nothing, just boom, black. And there was just no reason. And for it to happen that night, it's either the enemy or it could have been God allowing it, so that I just get a feeling. I have a lot more empathy for what it's going to be like. And that's just nothing compared. I think it's going to really help me sharing the gospel with people. And it's going to help me just just look at this differently. So maybe chew on that. But then another thing is I've learned a bit more about discernment and stuff like that, and just really taking time with things, like through my daughter and what she was saying about with this whole don't go to school thing. We walk in spirit and in truth, and I've always tried to be that person, that balance. And my last video, I got some comments about, don't use numbers or Strongs or this and that. And I was so adamant to say, like, I'm not depending on Strong's concordance. I don't use gematria, nothing like that. I literally heard numbers and looked things up in the Bible. So if people can't see at this point that I'm balanced, or at least I attempt to be balanced, then there's nothing I can do about that. And I don't want to hear your comment. Honestly, I don't. Because that's the one thing I strive so much, not to be crazy town, and at the same time to walk in spirit, because we walk in spirit and truth. Some people are very off to left field in the spirit side. They're just, everything is God told me this and God told me that and God told me this and God told me that. And then the other side is everything's logic. They never talk about dreams. They never talk about visions when it clearly says that's going to happen. They are just very logical, and it's probably personality, but I try to be balanced because this is, we do walk in spirit and truth. Actually, I think the verse is we worship in spirit and in truth, and I may be saying that a bit out of context, but I still think it's true. It is there. And yeah, I think this experience helped me to realize I have to find that balance. So one, it helped me to have more empathy for people who are about to face something crazy that we can't even imagine. And then two, it helped me to realize I have to find a good balance of, like, using discernment, listening to the Holy Spirit, and also, walking in truth. The Bible is truth. So I try to do that. And I don't want to talk about, like, people with this whole, be careful about numbers and stuff like that. Like, I definitely am, and I'm one of the first people who kind of shunned all that, and I know numbers matter, but we have to be super careful. And the numbers, usually I just go to the Bible, to see verses and things like that. Could it be something? And he's shown a lot to me through that. And the main thing I saw, if you didn't see my last video, was Daniel 12:12. 12:12 was kind of like what I realized, and he brought me to Daniel 12:12, and that's what I think I saw. So I'm still praying on all that and what that means, because I don't know. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know why I had that experience from my last video, that experience in the middle of the night. Like, I still 100% know. I thought it was the bridegroom call. Like, he was trying to like show me something, that you're blessed for making it to the 1335th day. Like, that's what I felt like he was showing me, that you're blessed to make it to May 21st, whatever that meant. So it still could mean that, I don't know, but that's another lesson I learned, is balance, which I think I've been really good with, but people still criticize. Anyway, so what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the other thing too is, I've learned something about my personality, and this is, sorry if you're not interested, but this is just about me, but might help you about my personality, is that I don't enjoy like some of the things that people enjoy on YouTube, especially creators with end time stuff, watching dates or whatever and getting really into a date and hyping up this date. And I wasn't watching a date or hyping it up, but more a moon. And I typically don't get like that anymore. Maybe when I first came on YouTube, there's a few times that I really like, especially when Israel turned 70 and things like that. They're just big events. There's nothing you could do about it. Like May 14th, even this last May 14th was just a big event, and something huge did happen. I mean, there was pretty much a war. And it ended on the 21st, and says, bless who's make it to the 21st, that whole thing. I don't know. I'm still waiting on the Lord. But yeah, I realize I don't enjoy it. I don't like getting really hyped up around something. So I have to really look into that, because it's not something, and it's not even about dates or even big events. Or the conjunction happened, the Great Conjunction, and it wasn't personal to me. I was thinking it was a big sign, and it could be the rapture, it could be a sign, it could be whatever. And I told you what I thought it was. I thought it was the sign of the second part of Revelation 12, where it says, and then there was another sign, the dragon stood before the woman. So all that to be said is, I didn't like this feeling of being really invested to this level. Maybe it was right, I don't know, but I didn't like it. I don't enjoy it. And I think it gets to a point where you're like, this is not something I enjoy doing. I enjoy fellowshipping with you guys and just walking through this together, but I don't enjoy that, I don't know, anxiety and getting wrapped up. It just didn't feel good. Other people, I see other channels, where every single month there's something new that they're like getting so hyped up about and all this stuff. It's like a roller coaster, and I want off of that. It's not really my personality to enjoy that, and I shouldn't say off of that, because I never really got on it except for this. But the only reason this was so big to me was because I woke up in the night. Then that thing happened. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my very last video. That's what really started this. That's why when the lights all went off, it really affected me a lot. But, maybe it was God's will, or whatever Satan meant for evil, God will turn to good and help me. Like I said, I have this empathy now. I just feel, for the people in the tribulation and how that's going to go. And you're going to be so afraid. Anyway, what am I saying? Oh yeah. So the last thing that I'm saying here is that for me, and I don't know about everybody else, but I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it that way, where you're this hype man and it's all this thing. And I wasn't that person. And I just realized very much it is not fun for me. I don't get off on it. Other people just do. I just like being consistent, just every day walking it out with you guys and just talking about things, but not emotionally investing in that. I emotionally invest in wanting the end result, and that's what I'm going to talk about next. I might make this a two-parter. I don't know if I'm going to continue on how I'm going to do this, but I felt really led to tell you guys my millennial reign dream that I had said before a long time ago, but a lot of you guys don't know it. But it's about the millennial reign, and what I believe was the millennial reign. I'll explain why I think it was. I truly believe it was, and that I believe it was a real dream through confirmations. So that being said, I just learned a lot about myself. Something did happen. The power went off. I know that sounds like nothing, but I just didn't feel like it was nothing. And I'm just taking it from it, what will be functional and useful. And I'm working with that. And I hope you guys aren't all thrown off and everything, because I don't like the roller coaster, and I'm thinking a lot of people don't. We have to look at these as signs, but things could have happened. Okay, this is the last thing I'll say, and this is way out there, and I'll just say it because, like I said, I'm walking it out with you guys, but something that came to my mind was, because my lights went off, because there was these solar flares and all this stuff happening in the sky, I think aurora borealis stuff, I don't know, with the blood moon and all that, something that I was thinking about was the dragon casts a third of the stars down to the earth before the man-child is caught up. Go read it again, Revelation 12. The stars fall before the man-child's caught up. And I know a lot of people think, oh, it's the meteors or something like that. But if he took a third of the angels with him, doesn't it make sense that symbolically when his tail casts a third of the stars to the earth, it would seem like it's like fallen angels? And if it is, could they be spirit and not in physical form? So could time, this is just a long shot, and I don't know that we'll ever know this side of heaven, but that maybe that day, because maybe this blood moon was that time when he cast the stars down, like we wouldn't know. And they need hosts, and they'd have to go into people. So I know that's a long shot. I just put it out there. People who have basically allowed themselves to be portals somehow, if that's possible, you know? So I only say that because of the symmetry. I showed you that chart where this blood moon that just happened is literally perfectly in the middle of all the other solar eclipses. You'll have to see that video. It's probably 2 videos ago where I show a chart and it's literally lines up absolutely perfectly. Maybe I'll try to put it on the screen. Absolutely perfectly, numbers wise, perfectly symmetrically. I'll put it on the screen. Between the other moons, like the exact days, like the exact numbers. Perfectly. So I thought this has to be something pretty big. And then when I woke up hearing you're blessed to make it to that day, May 21st, I was thinking, why? And, you know, I did that whole thing about Revelation 12 and how you count backwards. And anyway, so let's just leave it at that. You know, I'm trying to worship in spirit and in truth. I'm trying to be logically truthful and base it on biblical facts and all that stuff, but also spiritually use discernment, because I don't like either way, the extreme either way. Like when you're so logical, usually you're pretty saltless, you're kind of boring. And think about how the apostles, they would be like led here and led there, and then the Spirit led Jesus here and the Spirit led Jesus there. Like if all you ever do is think logically and use the Bible, well, it doesn't seem to mimic how the disciples acted and how they went to different places. And what about all the people of the great men of old, like the prophets and stuff and Noah and everything? Like, do you think God always spoke audibly to them? Did you know, Abraham, was he told to leave with an audible voice, to leave Mesopotamia, or did he hear it in the spirit? Like, I don't know, but that's the thing. We have to use both. It's a fine line, and try to walk it. I know certain personalities lean one way over the next. Anyway, so I've talked a lot. These are all my thoughts, possibilities, and things that happened, and things that didn't happen, and what could possibly have happened in the spirit, and I can't see it. We can't see it. Anyway, so I love you guys, and I hope you're not, you know, thrown off by all of this. Just keep on keeping on. We'll try to walk through it together. And I know you guys don't think I'm, you know, unbalanced in this ministry thing that I'm doing here on YouTube and my viewpoints. I think most of you see that I try really, really hard to base my stuff in scripture, and also at the same time, you know, ask the Holy Spirit for direction and things like that. So I'm going to do that even more than ever now. And also at the same time, I do feel like a lot more urgency to talk to people about stuff because of how I felt that moment when all the lights went out. So I hope, you know, somehow you guys learned something from this, and who knows, maybe we're going to figure out even by the end of today, like I'm recording this on the 26th, like I don't know, maybe there'll be some more understanding about what might have happened. I'm eager to hear what other people are going to put out, but that's what happened in my day, in my life, in my night, and lessons I learned and how it affected me. But we're still waiting because something more might still come to pass, or I don't know. So anyway, all that being said is, yeah, I guess there's nothing more to say. I decided this is long, so I'm just going to make the millennial reign dream my next video. I'll try to record that today too. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I love you guys, and yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. Until next time, God bless and shalom.